CTV News. I'm Rob Cope-Williams. The student army made a name for itself when it hit the streets of Christchurch, but what of their future?
The volunteer student army kicked into action almost immediately after the earthquake on the 22nd of February. The army was established after the September 4th quake. Okay, Sam, so can you just tell me a bit about what happened in the first couple of days after the quake?
Sure. So I was actually up in Wellington when the earthquake hit, ironically at an emergency management conference with quite a few other of the civil defence heads around the country. And instantly when the earthquake hit, sort of got some text messages and started phoning and ringing some of our core team and sort of saying, well, you know, get prepared to do this again. We're going to start with the volunteer army again, except with the magnitude of the earthquake and the scale of the damage, we're going to have to times this whole operation by 10 and try and run for a much longer period of time and involve an awful lot more people.
Volunteers were organised into departments and distributed to various suburbs. During the weeks following the quake, 75,000 hours were put in by over 8,000 volunteers. If all the workers were paid minimum wage, it would equate to over $1 million in wages. The big top tent at Canterbury University was the hub of organisation for the army during the weeks following the quake. Okay, Sam, so we're here at the Big Top. Can you just tell me a little bit about how this was used as a headquarters during the...
Sure. So this was the Big Top tent has been really integral to the whole operation. It was a base where we could meet people in the morning, dispatch the students from, have all our supplies dropped off here, and generally just be the headquarters of operations. So in the morning, you behind me here would have the queues of up to sort of 1,000 people lining up out that door. They'd come inside. They would have a team of 10 or so people on computers, and they would sign in. They would sign in by scanning their student ID card or their driver's license, and that was a safety precaution, so we know where people are during the day. The Big Top was also extremely awesome to have at the end of the day. So when everyone came home from a really hard day's work, and it was mentally and physically exhausting. So at the end of the day, we'd come back to the Big Top, all the buses would drop them off, and we'd organise, make sure we have something organised to just say thank you to the volunteers.
The army would then be provided with equipment such as dust masks, wheelbarrows and shovels, and then marshalled into groups with a team leader for each. Wheelbarrows were donated from various organisations for the clean-up effort. Okay, Sam, so you're about to show us your wheelbarrow collection?
This is our wheelbarrow collection.
Yeah.
This is actually only a fraction of the wheelbarrows. We've given a lot away to community gardens, to some schools and that sort of thing, where we can. This is the wheelbarrow collection. There's about 100 wheelbarrows in here. These are the ones that were donated by ANZ. So ANZ have been one of the major sponsors to us and donated over $27,000 worth of wheelbarrows to help out with the cause. There's also a whole lot of shovels in here. The support that we've had from the community and from businesses internationally and particularly around New Zealand has been absolutely overwhelming. And it's incredible the things that we've had donated to us. So as you can see, we've got a container load. We're keeping them here. They're going to be moved away from the university, but we're just keeping them in case something else happens, not necessarily in Christchurch, but within Australasia. I mean, coming across 100 wheelbarrows is actually extremely difficult, and we want to be able to lend those out to other community groups who are doing projects and that sort of thing.
Sam hopes the student army may help student stereotypes and change attitudes towards students.
Right now in Christchurch, it's great to see how, when push comes to shove, actually young people are more than happy to step up for nothing in return, to go out and shovel day after day for weeks, removing the silt and helping the residents out. I think that attitudes of Christchurch and actually people right around the country, their attitude towards students has largely changed. It's really evident to me that we've seen is the usefulness of young people in the community. They aren't just the binge drinking sort of cling on to society that we're sort of perceived to be, but actually when push comes to shove, we've been useful for something and really got stuck in and got something done and really supported people. And it's incredible and extremely humbling to see how that's changed.
With the university starting back, the student army is winding down. However, the army has now been restructured and is a club based at the university. Sam aims to keep the student army prepared and available to continue to do mass volunteer work if needed.
Our plan is, and like our plan was from the September quake, was to always have the ability there to sort of mobilise a large group of students and a large group of people. And so we'll definitely keep that capability. Hopefully we won't be needing it again, but we'll definitely looking to keep that group of people together. So if need be, we can just go out and help the community, whether it's helping to clean up the beaches or something like silt clearing as well, and just helping Christchurch in the recovery.
What has we found really evident with the student volunteering is people actually want to help, and they want simple volunteering. People are more than happy to give up their time, especially students. We've got the time to give up. If it's a good project and it's for a worthwhile cause, they'll happily give up a few hours of their time. We're very lucky we've got a strong brand now and funding behind us to enable a lot of those sort of projects to happen. So we're going to be inviting proposals soon through our website of people individuals who want to organise a community project but want a bit of assistance with the organisational structure, and that's a service that we're going to be able to provide, and hopefully just keep that momentum going and getting young people engaged and involved in the community.
But with their term cut short, students have a busy time ahead of them.
As uni starts up again, as lecture theatres and that reopen, the students are all going back to their studies, what they actually came to Canterbury for, and so they're trying to return to normality there, so it makes it a little bit harder for them to be able to get out there and help out, but they're still running some activities, mainly in the weekends. If people need help or they need to find out more information about that, then they can go to the Student Volunteer Army Facebook page. Is the best place to find information there. But basically, you see around the tent now, the students are sort of getting back into the studies and trying to find anywhere to study. At the moment, it's lectures and studying in a tent, but there's more and more buildings opening up.
The Christchurch City Council call centre is still registering liquefaction if people have a problem in their area. The Student Army will continue to work with the Whāmi Army and Volunteer Canterbury to help clear any remaining liquefaction. And there is now international interest in the idea of mass volunteer work.
There's actually large international interest in the concept of en masse volunteering involving students, and so we're actually dealing a bit with the Japanese government and trying to get a system set up there, and also instigated and a template made of our model and incorporated into some universities in America, which is a very exciting project. And it's not a money making exercise. It's just trying to get that. It's a tool, and it's a really powerful tool, and one that was really effective. And harnessing volunteering worldwide is something I just really want to help do and help drive. And if there's something that we have that in terms of emergency response and international disaster management, that if there's something that we have here that's useful for that, I don't see why we shouldn't be working very hard to make that possible.
Coming up after the break, we take another look at some of Christchurch's heritage buildings.
Hi, Pete Smith, and I'm absolutely delighted to bring you the news that Pete Smith Hosts will be back. It'll be back on the brand new CTV. It's a chance for you to actually meet some of the up-and-coming stars of sport in our province, also some that are really high achievers, not just in Canterbury, but in New Zealand and around the world. It's back, Pete Smith Hosts, and we'll want to be reacting and interacting with you. So Pete Smith Hosts, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you will join me.
Hi, Rob Cope-Williams. Rob's Country will be back on CTV very, very soon. You'll remember that Rob's Country brings you anything rural, everything from dairying to cropping, horticulture, law, farm accounting, in fact anything that happens in rural Canterbury, which is really Rob's Country.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily Cooper, a reporter for CTV News. Thanks so much for being with us at this time. We're back and we'll be bringing you all the best regional and local news possible. Watch CTV for all the latest updates on the recovery. CTV News Monday to Friday on CTV and repeats on the Māori channel.
Hi, I'm Canetta Knight. Canterbury is still in recovery, and that's why we have CTV's City Life, a 1-hour program each weekday bringing up-to-the-date information to you about our recovery. We'll be speaking to people from all ends of the spectrum, from people still affected by the earthquake to those making the decisions for ongoing progress and change. Who would you like to speak with? What questions would you ask? Email me, canetta@mainlandpress.co.nz. See you early May.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Harris, Sales Manager at the new CTV. Do you have a business that's been relocated, being rebuilt or repaired, or do you simply want to expand your market? Then you need to advertise on CTV. CTV is back on air and proud to be associated with the rebuild of Christchurch. Call me now and I'll put together a cost-effective campaign that will deliver results for your business. Grow your business with the all-new CTV, the Recovery Channel.
The elderly folk in Christchurch are taking it hard with respect to stress levels, as Brian Strong discovered.
Dozens of the elderly had to be transferred out of the city because of damage to houses and rest homes. Tui Brown, a member of Grey Power Executive, says many of the moves have caused a lot of dislocation with families.
Well, they miss their family and sometimes the family can't visit them, but there is available a fund that will assist them to go and visit some of them if they know. But they're not always available. They don't always know that that information is there.
With the loss of over 600 rest home beds, some of the elderly simply have no place to return to. Some have decided to stay where they are.
There are some that have chosen to stay out of Christchurch and don't want to return, but there are others that want to return and there's not the beds available yet for them. They will have to probably go onto a quota system to be able to get back into beds that are available in Christchurch, because we haven't got the rest homes haven't got this space.
Another legacy of the earthquake are the problems being faced in getting their homes repaired.
Well, a lot of them that have tried haven't had any luck with tradespeople because they just haven't got the funds. When they get to 70 and 80, their funds are running short and they haven't got the cash to be able to pay in advance. And some of the tradesmen haven't been paid, apparently, since September. So that's why they can't get tradesmen to do their work.
Many of our iconic buildings are being saved, but it's important that the heritage aspects are retained.
With plans to eventually rebuild the Catholic Cathedral, it's important that it be taken to pieces to a strict plan so that all reusable material can be saved. In charge of this massive conservation task is heritage consultant Carolyn Kerrigan, whose role is to supervise all aspects of the job.
A heritage consultant looks at the overriding heritage of a building, and my role in Opus is as a built heritage specialist, so I look after listed buildings or buildings that have some sort of historical significance.
We've seen you dangling off a crane when they were taking the bells out and sort of pointing, and everyone was looking at you and nodding. What were you telling them?
The bells were well and truly wedged in position, so there was debris on top of the bells and below the bells, and bells are also on top of each other. So we were trying to ascertain which piece of material we could move to actually get access to the bells without dislodging material above, below, to the sides, and the bells themselves.
So it was very shaky around there with the
It was very shaky. Everything we touched moved. At the same time, we're very aware that a quake or an aftershock could hit, and we would have to be moved very rapidly from where we were positioned.
Of course, the other big thing that everybody's been looking at, and of course looking at over the years, is the dome. The dome has to be lifted off. Now, This is not just a matter of lifting it off like a big cake cover, is it?
No, we're going to slowly deconstruct it, literally stone by stone. We've got a number of hole points. First the copper, then take it down a little bit lower. Hole point, assess the dome, decide what to do, take it down a little bit slowly at a time. Yeah.
Now, you said you'd number the stones, so what's going to happen to them?
We're numbering each stone as it comes down. We number it, we find its position on a plan, find its position on a photo, put it into storage, set it aside for use later.
So you're doing this with all the stones you take out of it,
All the stones that have fallen already, we're actually trying to establish where they've come from. We've got a lot of documented evidence because we surveyed the building from the outside prior to the collapse. So those we're relocating, and then those we are taking down slowly we will be also numbering.
So you're looking
and it's
at...
not just the stones, it's timber, it's nails, it's windows, it's glass, it's anything that we can see that can be reused or be identified.
Once the safe level is reached, then planning can commence for the rebuild, but it may take a bit of time yet.
Coming up after the break, a new free bus service and a nice story from Orana Wildlife Park.
Hi, I'm Canetta Knight. Canterbury is still in recovery, and that's why we have CTV's City Life, a 1-hour program each weekday bringing up-to-the-date information to you about our recovery. We'll be speaking to people from all ends of the spectrum, from people still affected by the earthquake to those making the decisions for ongoing progress and change. Who would you like to speak with? What questions would you ask? Email me, kaneta@mainlandpress.co.nz. See you early May.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Harris, Sales Manager at the new CTV. Do you have a business that's been relocated, being rebuilt or repaired, or do you simply want to expand your market? Then you need to advertise on CTV. CTV is back on air and proud to be associated with the rebuild of Christchurch. Call me now and I'll put together a cost-effective campaign that will deliver results for your business. Grow your business with the all-new CTV, the Recovery Channel.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily Cooper, a reporter for CTV News. Thanks so much for being with us at this time. We're back and we'll be bringing you all the best regional and local news possible. Watch CTV for all the latest updates on the recovery. CTV News Monday to Friday on CTV and repeats on the Māori channel.
Hi, Rob Cope-Williams. Rob's Country will be back on CTV very, very soon. You'll remember that Rob's Country brings you anything rural, everything from dairying to cropping, horticulture, law, farm accounting, in fact anything that happens in rural Canterbury, which is really Rob's Country.
Hi, Pete Smith, and I'm absolutely delighted to bring you the news that Pete Smith hosts will be back. It'll be back on the brand new CTV. It's a chance for you to actually meet some of the up-and-coming stars of sport in our province, also some that are really high achievers, not just in Canterbury, but in New Zealand and around the world. It's back, Pete Smith hosts, and we'll want to be reacting and interacting with you. So Pete Smith hosts, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you will join me.
Welcome back. A free bus service has been established to run between New World St Martin's and New World South City. The St Martin's building was badly damaged in the quake, and the owner-operator Nigel Bond says he wanted to make it as easy as possible for shoppers in his area. The bus runs 6 times a day, Monday to Friday, leaving from St Martin's on the hour between 10 a.m. and 3 and returning from South City New World at 1:45 the hour, starting at 10:45. Christchurch's cold snap is set to ease today. However, Easter weekend holidaymakers may be in for some more cold weather. There's a possibility of more showers, leaving those with holes in their roofs and no way of heating with more uncertainty. We'll be speaking to Roger Sutton from Orion Power later this week about what he thinks can be done. We'll leave you with a good news story today. Brian Strong visited Arana Wildlife Park to see how they were coping with the quakes and met some new members of the zoo.
These cute cubs at Arana Park will soon be ready to meet the public. With their flu vaccinations out of the way, the cubs and their mother Mika will soon go on public display and will be integrated back with other lions to make a pride of 6. Here's head keeper of exotic animals, Graham Petrie.
Well, recently in the last 10 years, unfortunately, lions have now reached a threatened speciesness. So as a zoo community worldwide, we have decided that we need to do something to protect this species. So here in Australasia, as a collective, we have decided to look after the Krugerrei subspecies. Now, they're the two cats that we had on loan from Wellington Zoo, are part of that breeding program.
You say Krugerreized, what do you mean by that?
That's their Panthera krugerrei is their botanical name. Lions are divided into, I think there's about 11 or 12 different subspecies now. We believe a couple have gone entirely. So that's the one that we've chosen to basically manage to hold a good healthy gene pool.
Now, does that have anything to do with Kruger National Park?
Yeah, that's part of the area, and that's how they possibly were given their name at that time. Like most species, when they're originally discovered and given names, they're all different types. And
With the you talked about a gene pool here. How are we off for that in Australasia?
well, here in Australasia we have previously, well, worldwide really, we've actually been really breeding what we were classifying zoo lions. They were hybrids. We really didn't know exactly what we had. It wasn't until the mid-80s that we really started DNA testing to find out what we had left on the planet, because we started seeing some issues then. And a lot of lions that Arana originally started with were rescue animals from circuses and things like that. As they were closing down and people were really getting away from having big cats and those types of environments, we were providing a house for them, and we continue to breed with them to keep our numbers up. Now that we've chosen to start managing subspecies level, we've really started to let our hybrids delete by natural attrition and start to introduce the Krugerite subspecies into our breeding programs.
What's the background of the two boys, the little cubs here?
The two lads here, well, their fathers were actually born in Auckland Zoo, held in Wellington Zoo, and on loan for us for 2 years to get some breeding. We had a male previously here in the past. Unfortunately, he passed away, which left us in a place where we didn't have any entire males. And at the time when we were looking at increasing our lion population, Wellington Zoo were wanting to renovate their enclosure, so it worked out great for both parties. We were able to remove the animals so that they could renovate their enclosure, and at the same time we were able to use them for breeding down here to bring our numbers up again.
Graham Petrie says they're thrilled with Mika as a first-time mother.
She's a brilliant mum. For a first-time mum, she was born here at the park herself. You couldn't ask for a better mum, very protective with the cubs for the first few weeks. We hardly ever saw them. We could hear them, we knew they were nursing and things like that. And even now she's slowly getting used to us being around, and the cubs are getting used to us being around as well too. So we now have go through the process of introducing, and now we'll start working on getting her and the two boys into the big tent, which is the normal territory for the pride when they're out in the reserve.
And Arana Park has a definite breeding program with their lions.
If you have a positive story about the earthquake, let us know. We want to hear about people doing wonderful things for others, sharing examples of Kiwi ingenuity and about those who are making the most of a tough situation. Call Sasha, here, CTV, 377 7033, or email her at this address, which is sasha.stevens@ctv.co.nz. That's our news for Tuesday the 19th of April. I'm Rob Cope-Williams.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.